Hello, and welcome to Mindfully with Tunmise, the podcast. Today, I'm collecting a story. You remember when we started this journey back in August, I said that we'll be collecting a lot of stories. People think that mental health is about when you've been diagnosed. Sometimes you don't even have to be diagnosed. You just know that you have to tap into something inside of you to come out better. That is me putting it in layman's term. And we had Muji, my therapist, earlier on this year, and we talked about coping mechanisms and all of that. But you see, what I love the most to do on Mindfully with Tunmise is to collect stories. And this particular one, I've been trying to drag her for a long time. You're like, she's not good. Nah, I can't do it. Nah, I'm shy. I know that. But a good cup of coffee, some cookies, and we're here. Nkechi Ajayi.
Yeah.
Welcome to Black Emoji Studio.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping. Anyone who comes on the show, I ask a question.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask, how are you? You can't say I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm good. So, how are you? Because I really want to know.
How am I? I'm growing. I think that was just sum it up. I'm growing.
Whoa. Yeah. You guys know that I want to pursue that, yeah? Y'all know I want to pursue that. I am grown. Oh, man. Why did you do this to me? Okay, I'll just, okay, so let's just, when you say you're growing, what does that mean?
Okay, I don't know if it makes sense, but you know how, okay, let me not say you know. For me, it's like, I'm having almost the best time of my life in the most challenging time of my life. I'm navigating a kind of transition, and it's been hard. But it's also good for me in the sense that I'm learning to navigate challenges in a different way. Natural me, I can freak out. I can become close to everything around me when I'm facing a challenge. But this me, I'm waking up every morning and I'm like, okay, how are we going to get through today? I'm listing out, these are the things that I have to deal with. How do we deal with it? And I'm growing. You know?
I like that.
I'm growing.
I like that. Oh, I actually truly really love that. Okay, so today, of course, not everybody knows Nkechi Ajayi. Who is Nkechi Ajayi?
Okay, Nkechi Ajayi is a wife. Let me start from that part of my life. A wife, a mother of two. She's a Christian. She's a lover of God, a lover of music. She tells people without music, there's no her. But I'm also an architect. I'm a project manager. And I also love functioning in that space. I think just when I was thinking of, okay, who am I? Who am I really?
You don't label.
I don't do this often, right?
I know that. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't do this, but I was just thinking, okay, who am I? And I was like, I think I'll just say I'm someone who's just passionate about creating, whether it's music, whether it's design from architecture, whether it's going on site and project managing one project and then seeing it come to life. That's me. That's when I come alive. The funny thing is, I see my life as a project. I see my children as a project. I literally sit down and I'm like, okay, my daughter is going through this. Okay, how do we? And I write notes. Saturday, do this with her. Saturday. So, creation. I just like to create. That's me.
Okay, you're making me think. Should I go there or should I go here or should I just pursue this? Because, it's not a lot of people who are in that headspace to truly understand who they are. I know that the question, who are you, comes off as,
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I think all my life, I just, when you say who am you, I just say Oluwatomishi. Because for me, everything that I am, everything that I do is in that name.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot, like, I've tried it. I've tried to remove myself from the name.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. Like, so, and even when I'm introducing myself to people who are not Nigerians, and you say, "Well, you said Mulu watching Michelle." No, it gives me the time. It gives me the space to explain myself, explain my name, and in the end, oh, okay, I should bear that name, and it's. I don't think that being a mindful person was an accident. It was in the name all along.
Yeah.
All along. All right, so people are wondering what story I'm about to collect. It's one that most women don't like to talk about. Nigerians or anywhere in the world. So it's not even about Nigeria, but of course it's about infertility. Second infertility for that matter. I can literally say, yeah, I said that. And we're about to collect a story. And as you heard her say, she's growing. And I literally have watched her grow. My first encounter with Nkechi was not even in choir. You'll be shocked. It was when, it was when, because I was when I was in choir, I just functioned.
Yeah.
I had just 4 friends, and those were the people I knew. After I just functioned. But when Abayomi gave me that CD, that was my first encounter with you. And I literally have seen you, like you say, grow. But and of course, I knew you had a daughter.
Yeah.
I did not think that you were looking for a second child.
A lot of people didn't, actually.
Yeah, because you functioned, you lived, you were. It didn't look like anything was going on.
Yeah.
It didn't look like anything was going on. But of course, when I saw that 2 years ago now. Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's some story here. So can you share your personal journey with second infertility and how that unfolded?
Okay. Okay, let me start with the first, because funny enough, we also waited for the first for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you know how it is with every couple. You get married and you're like, okay, let's do this. It didn't happen the first, second month. And we weren't really worried because my husband and I were really passionate people. So, we just felt, okay,
let's live life.
This kid is waiting. So let's live life. Let's have fun. And for the first year, it was just both of us. Sometimes we're on our way home, there's traffic. We're like, okay, let's see the movies and then maybe sleep in a hotel. I mean, there's nobody to go home to. So for the first year, it was fun. And then by the second year, we were like, okay, it's not happening. What's up? But I think in my story, the beautiful thing is I had amazing people around me. My family, my husband's family, my friends, they covered us. And that kind of made the journey easy. So after 3 years, after seeing doctors and okay, what's the issue? And they're like, okay, nothing really, intrusive tests. And they're like, okay, well, this test is showing one fallopian tube is blocked, but it shouldn't be the reason why you're not conceiving. Long and short, after 3 years, ooh, EP on a stick, positive, we're elated. So we're like, okay, let's go. Let's let's keep this fire burning. Let's go for the second.
The fire refused to burn.
You know? And the funny thing, I remember my husband was like, because I had an episiotomy for the first. So he was like, okay, let me give you time to heal. I said, don't give me time to heal, dude. They said, let's go. You know? And then we started trying, and it didn't happen. And 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. And you're like, what's happening? And I think at some point in that journey, I started getting angry. Why? Not because it wasn't happening, but because there was no reason. It's one thing to say this is why I'm not conceiving, but nobody could give us a reason. We tried about 3 fertility doctors and there was nothing, no results showing this is the reason why you are not conceiving. One almost gave the reason because he so I had to take permission from my husband to share this part because this concerns him. So one almost found the reason because he did a test for my husband and he was like, okay, I'm suspecting this, go for further testing. And according to my husband, it was like the guy in the lab was just a very foolish
foolish guy. Don't worry, go ahead.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, and then because someone was like, did the test and I was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with you. You know, go. You know. And I think that was about in the 5th year of trying. So then it was like, there's nothing wrong with you. We moved on. And then the 7th year, we're like, 7. As Christians, that we are a year of perfection, you know.
We're going to talk about that. Oh, no, we're going to talk about that. Go ahead.
We're like, maybe this is the year, you know. And so this is 7th year. Let's see another fertility doctor. And then we did, and nothing. And I think that was where it just started becoming dark for me. You know, before then, I'd been able to, okay, it's not happening. I'm down, I bounce back up. But a lot of people that knew me in that season, they saw a sad me. Because that year, it just got to me. I kept let me bring God into this, because I kept telling God, why are you not telling us what's happening? I mean, we're not living in the clouds and saying, okay, oh wait, if you don't do it, we are taking steps now. Why are you not telling us what's happening? And God felt silent, and that really just
okay, so I can help you. If you're trying to manage that, I can help you. See, sovereignty is crazy. You know, you're like, I trust you, God. I know that you can do this. So why in the heavens are you not doing it?
You know,
it is so upsetting. And there comes a time, even in your gratefulness and gratitude, you're still like, I'm thanking you because they told me to thank you.
You know, because I don't know what else to do but just thank you. Right?
I'm thanking you because they told me to thank you. Because the way I am, like, there's nothing to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So that leads me to asking, you know, you said you became angry and then it became very good. What kind of emotional, mental roller coaster did that 7th, 8th year look like?
Okay, so I think the most visible part of it is those that were close to me realized I was just going through the motions. And I think for me, it didn't help that apart from the infertility, there was just other things too that were just not
Going on.
aligning. Yes.
Yeah.
You get at that point in her hobby's business, things weren't really picking up. It was a low time. So I was just overwhelmed. Like, what have I done to be to deserve being in this place? Like, you know. And then my mom had this funny saying where she always, you know, God chooses the people that he gives certain journeys. He has seen that you can carry it. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person. Like, Take it away from me.
I hope God doesn't slap me saying this. I still telling her, no, I don't want to be Job.
Yeah.
Don't brag with me.
Don't. Like, just let us be.
Yeah. I don't want to be Job.
I
Of
know.
course, we can't choose, but, there's some prayers in Yoruba I don't pray. Fimidara. Don't dara. Don't dara, because this face I'm holding like this, I'm just holding it. Don't go and test it so much, So I said,
Yeah. So and then it was a mix of emotions for me, because I also felt like, okay, am I being ungrateful? Because I already have a child. It's not like I don't have one. And there are people that don't have children. So I was torn between that piece of, this is what I desire, and another spirit telling you, but you have one of those that don't even have one. And funny enough, I had a friend too who had been trusting. So, sometimes I'll think about her and I'm like, girl, don't be ungrateful. So it was just that mix of emotions for me, until we had the breakthrough.
Okay, let's talk about this. Your faith and this journey. How many times? Because if you were me, I'm sure that if you look into my journal, you see how many times I've lost faith.
Yeah.
How was that motion for you and your faith during this process?
I can't say how many times.
Yeah.
But the mornings I wake up and in my prayer journal, I write, you are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for, you are God all by yourself. And then there's some days I'll wake up and I'll write, I know you love me. I know you are a rewarder of those who diligently seek you, but I'm freaking tired of being in this place. So it was up, down. And like I said, those that knew me in that season, they met a sad me. In fact, I'm close to someone now, and she said that was the period where she just said she just started developing a relationship with me, and she was like,
"Hello, Shani. Why is this person pricky? What's this person?"
You get, So, yeah, good.
How did you navigate?
One day at a time. And then I remember that I kept telling God, I want to be happy. That became my prayer for like almost a year and a half. I wake up and I'm crying, like, I want to be happy. I don't know how to be happy anymore. Let me find this joy. Because honestly, Timish, I won't tell you it was one thing. All I know there was a struggle. And then I just kept praying, I want to be happy. And then one day I just woke up with like, you know what?
Did writing songs help?
I really didn't write songs about the experience. Maybe because I felt if I wrote any song in that season, it would not be very Christian. Because it would be a song with more questions than answers. And I didn't want to write something that would not be true. In a way, you write and you're writing as if you have the answers, but you don't have the answers. So writing songs, no. But journaling the journey, yes, it did help.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I was going so how did you get released? Because I know that, most of us creatives, that's where, even King David, who most of us creatives seems to align with, he had questions and he asked them.
Yeah.
He asked them. Oh, he
did.
Them. He asked. Yeah. He had questions and he asked.
Yeah.
After he has finished asking, say, I know you are God, but me, I will
ask this question, yeah.
And I'm just wondering that, do you think if you had poured that out without worrying whether it was going to be Christian enough, do you think that would have helped you navigate better?
I don't know. I'm not sure. And I almost feel like I'll never know because I'm one of those people that want to bring it out correct. So I would not even take that risk. I know myself that much. So maybe I would never know.
Oh, so this is Nigeria.
Yeah.
And of course, for everyone who's heard, she's dual Nigerian. She's Nkechi and she's an Ajayi. How, well, we can't run away from it. How was the extended family?
So I think I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Because they were amazing.
Yeah.
In fact, the only thing I would say is
On both sides?
On both sides, yes. So I tell my husband he's from a very British family.
I know the
You know, the kind of family that is like, you do you, and we do us. We don't have to be involved, you know. But if you want us to be involved, let us know, and we'll be there. So they were very respectful of that season. Nobody pushed, nobody asked. Yes, all that would happen is if we go see my mom-in-law, she would just pray and say, oh no, ma, I really don't know how to say. I don't speak Yoruba, but I understand. And then she'll pray in Yoruba that God would do that which our heart desires, and we say amen. And that was about it. But I think the only person I would say maybe
something funny,
not funny, but pushed was my mom. Was, have you joined Jerry Izzy? Your faith is not strong. Join Jerry Izzy. You know. And it was from a place of, see, I love my mom.
No.
You know, in fact, she's still fighting with me because she says, your faith was not strong enough to carry twins. If your faith had been strong, you would have carried twins.
How did that impact you mentally? You know, knowing that, you know, and Daddy, mommy, I love you. I'm not trying to pitch your daughter against you, but you know, you're coming from your in-laws who are, and trust me, you and I have the same experience. My in-laws are like, they're the best tastes. Like my mom used to say that this was God's compensation to my in-law family. Like, so I understand. So I'm not trying to pick. You know what? And then let me give you a clear example. After I had my daughter, I didn't even know what postnatal depression was. But you know, when they come to bathe you, and my mom will be saying, because I've been seeing Lewa, you have to. I knew what I've been seeing was postnatal psychosis. But my mother-in-law, who is in the medical line, knew exactly what was going on. So when my mother was doing the Yoruba thing, my mother-in-law is Yoruba, of course. Yeah. My mother-in-law just say, so to Shekilofe, what you want? I said, I just want my child. I said, okay, that's what you want? Do you want to see anybody? So she just, I just wanted my child with me. I didn't want any human being around me. And I remember her, when people came to the house, she would just come and collect the child also. You know. And my mother on the other hand was like, should I get it? So that's where the question is coming from. Yeah. In my head, I was like, oh, come on, woman, you get back to me, you should understand. Yeah. You know, so how was that, you know, mentally for you?
So I think I have an interesting relationship with my mom. I think I'm her most dramatic child.
You are dramatic?
Oh, yes.
You are? That's news, but... I'll take it.
You know, so I'm her most dramatic child. So I'm able to tell her, woman, I've heard you. Yeah. If I want to do it, I will do it. If I'm not doing it, I will not do it.
Gotcha.
You know, and I think at a point, I just told her, Mom, you see, Jerry, you say, I love him, but I don't know how to pray like that. I don't, so... And she's like, okay, just listen. Just listen and be saying amen. And I'm like, okay, but it didn't have a negative effect on me. Yeah. Because I know the woman, she's just a lover.
Yeah.
And the way she shows her love is just by being
that
everywhere around you, you know. So it didn't impact me negatively. It didn't.
So how did your support system? You said earlier that you had a good support system, your friends. You know, of course, you know, I knew you're from church. So when you say friends now, are you talking about a community or your choir friends or, you know?
Okay, so I don't use the word friend loosely.
So there's a reason I ask, because here we don't use that word loosely. Like, yeah.
Yes, I had specific pockets of people that were like they were my cover. I still call them my tribe. And then my sisters, God, I tell people I don't know what life would be if I didn't have the kind of girls I have as sisters. So they were always there. They never asked, but they're my safe space. If you go through, we have a chat. Yeah, and if you go through it, you'd see me pour out things. And then they respond, and then they call. And they're like, I'm here for you. Do you want me to come over? Do you want to come over? You want to talk? So they held me through that period. And I remember one day when it was just heavy, I was driving to work, and I was just heavy, and I just picked up my phone and I called my sister, and I just started bawling, and I had to park the car at the side of the road, and I was wailing, I was talking to her, and she just kept quiet. And they know how to listen, Funny enough, she told me after that she was in a meeting, but I mean, she'd never seen me like this. So she just put everything on hold. And I just was pouring. And then when I was done, she was like, what do you need me to do for you? Do you want me to come? And I was like, no, I'm good. I just needed to pour it out, How funny enough, there was a LASMA official. And then he knocked on the door, was like, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. I said, are you a Christian? Whatever it is, take it to... I said, okay, I know. He said, Mother, I'm worried about... I said, I'm fine, sir. I have spoken with my sister. I'm fine. So that's the kind of support they gave. They knew when to just listen. They knew when to just be around. In fact, one of my elder sisters, they knew when to make jokes, because she was like, I'm still fertile. If you want me to be your surrogate, please just let me. And we laughed about. So I was glad I didn't have people that were stepping on tiptoes around me. They were just real. I needed that laugh the day she sent that thing, and she sensed it. She said, and we just laughed about it. So
let me take you a little bit off of that, because you seem to have a different experience than most people.
Yes.
Do.
Yes.
That's the truth, than most people do. And before I ask the next question, I just feel led to ask you to speak to someone like that.
To speak with someone in the same position. God he's never late. As we seem to count it, it might seem to tarry, but it will surely come. And it's okay to feel everything that you feel, and to pour out everything that you feel when you feel it. He's not fragile. His emotions are not fragile. He will take it and he will still cover you, and he will still come through at the right moment and the way that he wants to come through. Because sometimes we think, I must carry this child in my own womb, and that's not the only way. So he will come through the way he wants to come through. And all you just need to do is keep holding on. It's hard. I know it sounds cliche when you tell people, but it's really not cliche. Sometimes holding on is the only thing that you can do. So keep holding on.
Can you repeat that again sometimes, what?
Holding on is the only thing that you can do. So keep holding on.
Wow. Okay. Tunmise, leave the church. Come back. So, what you just said now is going to lead me. And again, I just, short of saying I feel spiritual and not sound churchy or spiritual. What you just said now leads directly to the next question. Cultural stigmas and misconceptions about infertility. Because I know, like, I'll share my. I should have asked permission, but forgive me. I waited for it. Okay, so before I got married, or before I met Bumi, I was a very sexually active person, and I had done some DNCs, and in fact, the between me and my friends, then it used to be a joke. Like before they touch you, you don't get belly, you know. And then I got married. In fact, it was the only time I can say in my life that I actually, kept a diary about my
cycle and calculations.
Because 2 weeks later I was supposed to, to be ovulating and all that. And January goes, February goes. In my head, I'm like, to make sure it's shit.
I know, right?
So these are the conceptions. Hey, caveat. I am not saying abortion is good. We'll talk about that one some other day. It's not today. But for me, what we heard all our lives was she's done all the abortion, so she can't conceive anymore and all of that. And really that was at the back of my head for a long time. For a very, very, in fact, to the point I didn't know when I got pregnant, I really didn't know. So these misconceptions, how do you view them now?
I think everybody dealing with infertility gets to a point where they begin to ask, is it something I did? Yes. And it's not so much whether you got married as a virgin, or I think there's just something in your head that begins to question the ability of your body to function right, and you somehow begin to think, maybe it's me. So there's the part of, okay, maybe it was because of how I lived my life before now. And then if you lived good church girl and all, you're like, okay, maybe
after all the service I've serviced, I'm supposed to be giving this.
So I think it just gets to that point where you begin to question your ability as a woman to reproduce. I don't know if it happens to everybody. It did happen to me, and so there's this thing they also say that sex can become a challenge when you're...
A chore.
Yeah, but for me, it wasn't even a chore. For me, I just felt, at some point, I felt less woman. Because I was like, why is my body not doing this? It didn't help that my sisters were like, popping. It didn't help. I think we almost have a new birth every year in my family. The same way we got married every year and just like giving birth every year. And
are you all girls?
No, we're 5 girls and 1 boy.
Father Lord.
So it's a lot. So I think there'll always be that question. Why is my body not functioning like it should? Is it because of what I did, or there's always that? And it now goes beyond what people outside are thinking. Even you, yes, even you,
So, and that would trigger any pain if somebody just
says anything. Yes, So I think that's how I see it.
Okay, I don't want to keep this too long so that everyone can listen and just so on. So, can you share pivotal moments when it came to, like you said, that day that I just want to be happy, and one day you woke up happy? Can you share maybe 1 or 2 more moments when it dawned on you that, okay, I can be happy?
Okay. I think I clearly remember the season because it was linked to another medical journey. In the process of all of this, we did this thing in church, cervical cancer screening.
Okay.
And then my result came out positive for CIN4. I don't know if it's CIN4 or SIN4 that they called it. So I had to go for a procedure called cryotherapy. So I did cryo, and I was like, okay, this should be the worst of it, right? And I went a year after the cryo to check, and there were still abnormal cells. And then I was like, what's going on, And so I spoke with my oncologist, and the feedback was like, okay, do you have children? I was like, yeah, I have 1, but I want to have another. And he now said, okay, maybe let's look into assisted reproductive I don't know
Whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that you can conceive, because what I see is we need to take out your womb just to be, hysterectomy. And I remember that day I was with my husband. So after that guy, God bless him, he followed me to every single check, And after that, we just we went out for lunch. And I was eating, and I just dropped the cutlery, and I was like, Femi, no more. We're not going to do this. I'm not going to carry this thing on my shoulder like this is my story. Like, heck, we're moving on. And you know what? Whatever wants to happen, let it happen. I'm done carrying this. We're struggling with infertility, and now someone is telling me, quickly go and get your child. Let's take out your womb. Like, how? I'm done with this conversation, And I think that was it for me. I think after that, a switch just went off in my head. And I just became intentional about being happy. In fact, since then, you tell me something, I'm like, okay, motibo. I enter my room. I'm like, I know, I write it down. I've written it down. It's on your table. It's your table right now. I'm not carrying this. So I think for me, that was the switch. And I think sometimes in life, you just get hit. And you're like, I'm not taking this impact anymore. I'm releasing it back into the world. And I think that was it for me. That was it for me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that question was not on the list of questions I was going to ask, but I'm glad I did. Because I'm just imagining, okay, you're going to have an hysteroscopy.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like the first thing, like, what? No. I can imagine. And it's just. There's some cliche. Well, they're cliches because they're true.
Yeah.
A diamond or a coal is a diamond that didn't withstand the pressure. Do we want the pressure at the time? Hell no, we don't. Okay, so as a woman in Nigeria, maybe this will be the last question.
Okay.
Did you find that there were sufficient resources or awareness around the mental health support for individuals going through this kind of thing? I almost know the answer, but let me hear you.
I think I'll start with awareness. Awareness, no. But strangely, there are resources. But how do I put it? People are just not aware. But they don't know how to leverage on the resources available. For me, there were 3 things. Number 1, I had, Tolu Adegbite.
Yeah.
That was how we became friends.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, Oba was 13.
Yeah, so we conceived for our first at about the same time, because my first would also be 13 in June. So at about the same time.
Oh, so all of us were pregnant at the same
time?
At
the same time, yeah. So that was a major support system. Having like-minded people walking the same path, and we were able to carry each other. I should
get Tolu on this show.
You should.
I should. I told her, she's like, but Tolu's story is extraordinary.
Yes.
Tolu's story is extraordinary.
And and
okay, let me tell you, Tolu, for you to know how much Tolu got married on 2 weeks before we got married.
Okay.
We were counseled by the same couple. We were married by the same pastor. We went to Eiffel together.
Okay.
So you
go way back.
Tolu.
So and I think another thing is preaching vulnerability in your walk. Because how did I and Tolu meet? I did not know her from Adams, but I was blogging at that time. She was blogging, so we just used to respond on each other's posts. And one day I just reached out. like, okay, don't be offended if I cross the line with this question, but you not having a child, is it by choice or it just is? And that was it. But I think these days, all people are closed up. Nobody really wants.
Would you blame, or where would you point that to? Is it the society? Is it because truth is, you and I know that our parents will tell you it's not. We should call it it's not, Is it not knowing who to bleed to? Is it not knowing who your tribe is? Where exactly are we going to put that blame?
I don't even know. Sometimes I wonder, is it a generational thing?
Yeah.
Like maybe the younger ones don't know how to build relationships that are outside of.
But our parents didn't know how to build relationships either. So when given that tool,
they didn't have technology to even make it worse. Sometimes I feel technology makes it harder for people to actually just connect. Yes. Although thinking of it, I want to look connected through technology. So I don't even know what it is, honestly. Or maybe people don't trust themselves anymore. The fear of just opening up.
Yeah.
I mean, look at social media. X right now. Mm-hmm. Whatever you post, you're getting traction, right? So everybody's afraid, well, let me not go and send the one that someone will go and post on X. So I don't know what it is. So I think that's where I say awareness. People don't know that there is help. There is a way you can get a tribe to carry you, so there was that coming together with like-minded people. Then, so for my second, it was IVF, and the doctor that I used, let me not advertise, but God bless her, because
you can actually say we're helping anyway. So you can say
okay, so it's the ARC Clinic, and she was very inclusive, and then it helped also that there was someone from the choir that was the head nurse there. So when I just went for inquiries, and there were
this Nike?
No, not Nike.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when I went for inquiries, they dug deep, They gave possibilities, they gave options. We sat down, discussed the options, and we're like, okay, I feel this would be the best fit. In fact, the doctor wanted to start immediately, and then she was like, okay, hold on, because hubby had just done a procedure. Like I said, that foolish guy. So it turned out that was the cause for the delay, and it took us several years more to finally realize that, so even when he did that procedure, so the doctor was like, let's not rush, let's wait, let's give you a month and see if, but after the month, I think my husband was even like, well, I'm not young anymore, he's 50 this year, right? So he was like, what, let's just go for it. So there's that help too. Sometimes going to speak with a fertility doctor, it's not necessarily that you're going for IVF, but just let that conversation start.
If we start that particular conversation, because it's just like mental health. And my therapist was on the show 3 weeks ago, I think, and before I could get her to talk, because she's very media shy.
Okay,
but there's nothing as beautiful as having a patient who is very aware and ready to listen. And there's so if your family, for example, if you do not have such community as Nkechi and her husband had, and me too, trust me, there are medical practitioners in this country that will listen and hold your hand.
Yes. And sorry, just
go ahead, please.
Just before we go, I also wanted to say, so why this is really important is because you need that space to release, because you're already carrying so much inside of you. And I say this because were there people that were clueless and, let me use the word, silly and insensitive around me? Yes. I remember a particular day I was at rehearsal and I went to use the restroom, and then someone went, look at how good you're looking. I'm deceiving yourself. You're almost pushing 40. When your egg dry, that when you have
no.
And, you know, and I laughed and I walked away. Now, the one thing I don't have is I don't have good comebacks. You know, I always wish I did, because I would have hit her with a good comeback.
My day teach you. My day will teach you.
You know, but because I had a space where I could just release all that, I didn't hold it against her. And funny, you know, when I went home that day, I was like, she probably doesn't know better. So the next day on Sunday, I saw her and I was like, babe, that was off. That was off. Now I'm able to receive this because I have a thick skin. Somebody else might not be able to. And she was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it. In my head, I was complimenting you that you looked good.
You know, I think our brand, Nigerians' brand of
compliment is off. Oh God!
We are so cathartic. Our brand of commending, our commending, our brand of comedy. Everything seems to be as if we're living vicariously through each other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that person's turn now. My own bomb is not out yet. Let's enjoy this person's bomb that is out now. And that just impacts. Yes, we know they say we are resilient, but it just impacts. And everybody, if you're not careful, you just find that you suck in that negativity and blame it on somebody else.
Exactly. So that's why that release is very. And I think you're also able to educate people with the way you respond. You know, just it's hard. I know some people are negative, but.
Yeah. So, one last thing.
Okay.
Do your thing. Speak to women. You've done it before, but this one just that felt spiritual. This one is educating all that. Speak with women who first in fertility, second, third, fourth, whatever. You know, just
okay. 3 things I'll say. Number 1, own your journey. In the sense. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you how to walk this journey, because we're different. So our journeys are different. So number 1, own your journey. Seek to find answers. Don't wait. You know, spirituality makes us throw everything on God. I want a child. Give me a child. Seek answers, because your answer might just be something as simple as a hormonal imbalance. So seek answers. Speak with, if you don't want to see a fertility doctor, start with your gynecologist in your regular hospital. And then map your journey going on from there. Number 2, you might not always have support in your family, but seek it. Seek it. I tell people we are the masters of our own story. Things will not always come to you, but they're always available for you. So seek it. If your support is not in your immediate space, find where it is. And okay, Tunmise, she said don't go spiritual, but I'll always bring it back to God. If you don't know where it is, ask God to show you where it is. I've said prayers to God and to connect me with the right network for where I am now. So it's a prayer that can be used for infertility. Direct me to the right cover for me now, because you need it for your mental state, for your emotional state. You need it. So find where your support is if it's not in your personal space. And number 3, enjoy life on that journey. I've seen so many people stop living because of infertility. It's hard. And people might say, I don't blame her. Maybe she had the first after 3 years. I've been waiting 15 years. I would use a friend as an example. I will not call her name. But she waited for over 15 years for her first child. And funny enough, this pregnancy that was beautiful, the devil still wanted to take that child. But her spirit chose to live. Did she have her down moments? Yes. She had moments when she would even reach out to me and tell me, look, I'm not Abraham and Sarah. I don't want to carry my child. And I could understand it. But she lived her life. She's successful in her career. She has an amazing social life, personally, an amazing social life with her husband. So live your life. Don't become the definition of that challenge. I think that's one thing that we always do.
That's what I'm taking away. Don't become the definition of that challenge. Thank you so much, Nkechi. And Uncle Femi, thank you for releasing her. And, we're really grateful. Thank you for allowing me collects the story.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Love yourself. Love your neighbor. Love your country. Above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being. Mindfully with Tunmise. We'll be back. I'm still collecting one. Now, I don't bring people to the studio once. I'm collecting another story. So you're going to hear another part of the story next week. Until then, stay curious.